tattoo robot takeover and what you can do to fight back. This episode was so much fun with Helen. We went for, nearly 3 hours. I split this up into 2 podcasts, actually. The first hour, we're getting comfy and we're talking tattooing in the 2000s. And Helen's been tattooing now for 24 years. And about an hour in, things started getting really interesting and some hot takes started coming out. And this whole topic came about. And so the whole first hour, that's available right now to channel members in the description below. You can join and you can support this channel and see exclusive podcasts, early release stuff, ad-free stuff, and hundreds of videos that you can't see publicly right now, whether it's archived or new, like this podcast, that you're going to have to go over there to get that chunk of there. Man, without further ado, this is the Helen Farber Unite and Win podcast interview. Like, why me opposed to robot?
Yeah.
You know, and maybe, and I've always thought about this actually in the sense where I've never been the best tattoo artist. I've never banked on my talent, but I'm like, I'll work harder than them. Yeah. I'll paint more than them. I'll draw more than them. Yeah. I'll do this thing I'm doing right now more than them. Mm-hmm. I'll just do more. You know what I mean? And so, I definitely can't bank on being the best, but I could do the most, you know? Yeah. And maybe we can use the robots to do more.
Why not? That's it. They're supposed to be helping us.
I know.
They're not supposed to be replacing us.
So, all right, that's a good transition though. There's now like robot AI tat designer things happening. Have you seen this?
Okay. First I ever heard about this is I had a client come in and she wanted to get a cow with I can't remember the name of the hat, but one of those, you know, kind of cute little gardening grandma hats, you know, with the flowers and stuff, a little dairy cow with a pearl necklace. And I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And I was going to get some artwork started for her. And a lot of times I like to get things together with the client at the shop because I just find it's a lot
way less time wasted. They see the process. They're a part of it. Yeah.
We're not going back and forth over a week. We can you want that smaller? I can do that in like a minute versus 3 days of email. It
doesn't have to feel like unprepared. It could feel like more intimate, like you're doing it together.
It does.
It feels more custom.
I always leave time for that, but it was great because she brought me in these pictures and she said she went on this AI site and just typed in what she wanted, and it literally like gave her 3 different options.
Were they good?
They were really cute. And I was just like, wow. And I was like, okay. I ended up taking 2 of them, and then I ended up putting, because you know they were like full, you know, art renditions, colored and all that stuff.
Right.
So I ended up taking the 2 and kind of combined them because, you know, like the hat on that one more and this positioning is better and that, you know what I mean?
But the ideas were solid. The reference was there.
It was there.
Wow.
And it was like, you know, I could have been mad about it, but in my head, I was like, this just helps me get to what we want faster, you know?
How long until they bring in line drawings?
Okay.
Not long.
I don't know if I'd be mad about that. I mean, if I had spent like hours upon hours drawing something up and then somebody brought that in and was like, I want this. I don't think I would be mad at the robot.
Right.
I would more like be, you know, maybe you could have told me you were just going to get your design from an AI and save me the, because no matter what, whether you're getting a line drawing from a robot, whether you're tracing out a lion from National Geographic, the point is when you're putting it on someone's skin, you are taking that art and you are the one doing it.
Yeah, you're putting a hand to it.
So it's kind of like, you know, I can use that as a reference. And I mean, if they come out with line drawings, I'm not going to complain. I know some people that would.
I feel like it's going to be
my style of tattooing though is also different.
So
than traditional.
Right. So that's what I'm afraid of. Like, I'm afraid of the, like,
that would probably affect you more than me.
Yeah.
and the stuff I usually do
Yeah.
as versus you.
Because I do think about like lines. Like what if the design has a bunch of lines too close together, and with my line weight, when it gets twice as thick, it all blobs together.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, that is a cool drawing, and it is possible digitally, but like physically, and yes, I can tattoo it realistically,
Yeah.
but because I've been tattooing longer than the robot, I know the outcome of what it's gonna look like.
Yes.
That's
I know what you mean.
So
I know
what
you
if
mean.
the robot knows to leave this much space between the lines?
Right.
It knows that it needs to be. What if the robot tells him this has to be 4 inches? It can't be lower.
Yeah.
Unless Wayne uses a 3-round bug pin. Blah, blah.
Goodness, could you imagine
Holy
if it
shit.
broke it down like that?
Okay, this fucking podcast
Oh my
is going to be
gosh.
sick in like 6 years because
We're gonna look back and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, remember when we were talking about that?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
why can't it? Think about it. We draw on iPads already. We draw a circle, hold our finger out, makes a perfect circle,
Yeah.
right? And then we run it through, Thermofax stencils it for us. Like,
So the question isn't why can't it? It's when will it? Let me backtrack. Okay. I've seen the things on Instagram
mhm.
where you're scrolling through and you see this amazing tattoo on this person's arm, to where the first time I saw these posts, I was literally like, wow, that's amazing. And I'm like zooming in and, just like, how did they, I still do that where I screenshot things and I zoom in like I'm going to learn how to do it by staring at it.
Right.
It never works. But anyways, come to find out, these are computer digitalized images on skin that are supposed to give people ideas for tattoos, but they're not tattooed.
But the rendering's solid.
The rendering is solid, so people are seeing these things and being like, "Oh my gosh, I want that." When, it's not to say some of these aren't achievable by certain artists of a certain caliber. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But they're going to be let down.
it's kind of like it was like one lady who had taken a picture of something that was airbrushed onto someone's back, and she brought it in. She's like, "I want that," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, first off, this is paint on
Right.
top of somebody's skin. Trying to explain to somebody how inks always change because they're, beneath the skin. The skin is going to have an effect on how bright things are. It's not just paint on top.
Yeah.
It kind of made me feel the same way when you get these computers just kind of stamping pictures onto people's arms. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to the color pictures and things like that. And it's like, it's not really realistic. You know what I mean?
But
for
again,
a tattoo artist to
But dig
do.
this, not far off from why can't, and I'm probably giving the robots good ideas right now. I'm contributing to this bullshit. But why can't, say, there be an app where it takes a picture of your skin, sees your pigmentation, just overlay that color over said colors. Now you know how red looks like underneath that color.
That would be very helpful.
That would be a good one.
That would be helpful to people.
That one actually doesn't seem that hard to do either,
I don't know how helpful that would be for tattoo artists, because at least like for those of us that have been doing it for a while, we kind of know what to expect, but at least for clients,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But again, I don't know. It's
But here's the thing. So
crazy.
So I think, all right, you've been tattooing long enough where you could tattoo with anything. And because you could tattoo with everything, now you use the pens, you're comfortable with your thing, it's an ease of use thing, and it's consistent, and that is your thing. But when someone starts tattooing and it's just a press and go and they use this thing, they know far less about tattooing and how to use that thing than you do. And then
Because
let's say
of having used coils.
yes, and
Learn
what
with coils
I'm
is
saying,
versus
I can
learning
relate
off
this
pen.
also to I can relate this to everything, and I'm building up something. What I'm getting at is like you learn how to draw on paper, and then you learn how to draw on an iPad. iPad is not replacement for paper; it's just another tool. But if you didn't know how to draw on paper, you couldn't know how to draw on an iPad. Now, because you tattoo, you know how to draw tattoo that will work in skin because you've tattooed in skin, so you know how to draw on paper, so you know how to make it work for said tattoo.
Yeah.
Because you know how to tattoo, you could tattoo anything. Because you know how to draw, you can draw with anything. But as generations move forward, say your generation making needles, my generation not making needles, next generation not even using a machine that makes noise, next generation not even drawing on paper, next generation not even designing their own tattoos. Maybe drawing isn't. So then how do you know what is required of being a tattooer? Just application? Do you just buy skin and you just press go with your Amazon Alexa tat pen?
That's crazy.
And the AI draws it for you? Like, where is our place in this thing? Like, it might be an extreme novelty. I might go back to slapping acetates on motherfuckers to impress them. Because, like, where else are you going to get that?
Stick.
Yeah, robots not going to do that.
No, they aren't.
So it's like, I just think there's like, there's less things in between you and making that tattoo. But you still need experience to be able to apply the tattoo.
It's almost like replacing experience with convenience.
Yeah.
And so that's a really, I never actually took that into consideration.
When I first started tattooing,
everything's becoming more, less work for us, you know, to the point where, it's pretty soon it's going to be, our machines are going to be like our iPads, where we just put the machine down and hit circle. And it
holy shit. You could double tap the tat and it just disappears like that.
And it's like, okay, you're doing a circle. Let me straighten that out for you.
See, oh man, this is circles. A crazy conversation. I love this. This is fun.
Yeah, but that's gnarly to think about.
Yeah.
I never took it down the path you just took it.
Yeah, because it's like, it really comes down to application, and you've done certain things to learn how to apply this thing. Everything you've done in tattooing has taught you how to apply the tattoo, but when you don't have to do any of those things, like, I think tattooing is literally going to become just trial and error. Apprenticeship will be completely unnecessary. It'll be just trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, because you don't need to know about the equipment. You don't need to know where it came from. You don't need to know how it works. Power. Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't even know how to need to draw a design because it's drawn for you. You don't need to make the stencil because it's stenciled for you. You don't have to book the appointment because the appointment app booked it for you. Like,
see, now you're making me feel guilty about being okay with that AI design. Now I'm going to be like,
that's how I get you. It's convenient first.
It was convenient. I probably even used that word.
I know.
If I didn't, I mean, I've used it many times now.
It's going to take a lot more.
That makes me really like question myself now. I'm like, geez, should I even be okay with this? I should tell all my clients, don't bring me in an AI design.
I don't know.
I want to stay up late at night and design it for you.
Well, I feel like, I mean, as long as they're okay with you, because that's
my style. I mean, even if somebody brings in an outline, you know, very rarely is it like an outline and just, you know.
But I feel like you can bring the same. I guess I'm saying it's almost like client. The one thing clients don't understand is the application itself, and that's what the new tattooers won't get. Also, is the application itself, where the design is just a small piece of the tattoo. Like, you can give the same design to 10 tattooers, all use the same needles, same machine, the same ink, and have different outcomes.
Right.
Just in the way they talk, in the way they walk, the way they place the thing, the way it's facing on their body, and also he might have a choppy, whippy shade, and she might have a smooth, soft shade, and they might go too deep, they might go too light. And it's the same image. And that's one of the things that is interesting, that when I first started tattooing, not having this foresight, because how could I would place a stencil, pull the line, wipe it away. The line was there. I'm like, there it is. I lined it. There it is. I lined it. Right? It's there. I lined it.
Right.
I didn't understand what a good line was. It was there. I put the line in, but it might be like blown out. It might be falling out. It might be a little shaky. But to me, not knowing shit, it was a tattoo and it was in there. And I think most people think like that. Most people, how could they? I can't look at like a nice paint job on a car and tell you why it's good. I don't paint cars. I just see, pretty color. Right. Most clients see, ooh, pretty color. Yeah. So I think they just see it like image. Ooh, I like image. Application doesn't matter. If you bring,
I'm not going to lie. If someone comes to me and they're really excited about a tattoo they just got.
Yeah.
And it's really bad. I'm not going to tell them I think it's really bad.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be like, that's awesome.
Why ruin the magic?
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a magic ruiner.
Yeah.
I don't ruin magic.
I think all tattoos are magic, and it's like there's something about just getting a tattoo and then it's like there. It's like, ooh, and you get this like high, and it's like, whoa, it's there. It's amazing. And you can get something
designed by an AI, but it takes a lot of the you're going to have to chop this part because I'm thinking of a word right now. A lot of the
just use the word magic.
Magic out of sitting down with your client and really trying to pick their brain as to what they want. And then a lot of times they'll have an idea, but then the more we talk about something, the more it's like, dude, you should add this in because, you know, that kind of encompasses this and you can bring that aspect into it and it can be, you know what I mean? And you work together, whereas versus, you know, you can go to an AI to design something, but it's kind of like a Google search, you know, you just type in 3 words and see what it comes up with. But I mean, you're not going to type in your life story. Well, not yet. Anyways, you're not going to type. Well, they do write songs. Maybe you will type in your life story and the AI is going to be like, I've got the perfect tattoo for you. In an Alexa
and it's an
voice.
infinity symbol. It says love. Not much change.
Birds.
Yeah.
Birds escaping off into the distance.
So you'll start out that way. Man, that is crazy. You know, I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot though. Like I think, and that happens all the time. That's the ladder of becoming a tattoo collector, right? Maybe your first thing, you did think of everything. You did come in prepared. Everything has a meaning and it has to be this way. And I want it here that way for this reason because blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, yeah, they don't get it.
Yeah.
But then they come in a second time. I want this thing, but I like your style. I want you to do your thing with it, you know, and then they come in a third time. Like, I want that, you know, but it's not familiar. They're not there yet, you know? So maybe like how the same way a Friday the 13th event or an AI thing gets someone their first crappy tat. Maybe that's what it takes.
Just want a tattoo. Sometimes they're just pissed off or they're going through a moment and they're just like, I just want a tattoo.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just like, that looks cool. No, maybe everything has to have a story.
No, and everything, and that's such a stupid thing. Like, I feel like the story is the tattoo. Like you can't like plan the future.
So I walked into a shop.
Right. Yeah. I think like, and your tattoos, like your recollection of that moment and how you reflect back on it, your perspective changes. So therefore your meaning of your tattoo changes. You might get a tattoo with your friend dies. Now it's a memorial tattoo for your friend.
Right.
You know, you don't pick the meaning of your tattoo. You might see something and love it, not know why you love it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But spontaneity and tattoos are hand in hand. Travel marks are what, like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. Like, if you plan too much, you kind of, like, imagine, all right, you're going to France, and you know, okay, we're going to see the exploited, we're going to stay here, and we want to eat at this place. That's the extent of it.
Yeah.
If you plan every single step along the way, then there is no adventure to be had.
Yeah.
Because there's no mystery, there's no magic, there's nothing. You already know. You might as well not go because you already know everything you're going to do.
We don't have a hotel for the third night.
See? That's good because on the first night you found out about the place you should have stayed.
We know where we're staying the fourth night. But
you,
we have a little leeway. We've got a little, you know.
Yeah. But you kind of need to go to the place.
I am kind of such a planner, so that's a big thing to me.
But you should know better. You should know you should be open to it.
I am, but I know when I'm traveling with my son, it's a little different because
that's true. Yeah.
I know it's I mean, obviously we don't have like everything planned out. We got foods.
Right.
My husband's a chef, so he's like, I want to try all these foods. And I'm like I want to see all the castles.
For sure.
You know, so we have things that we want to do, but we don't have it planned out.
Right.
But that can be the same for tattoos, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like sometimes you have to go to the place to then find out how you were supposed to have gone to the place. Like you go, like in your first 3 days, you do the stuff you planned and everyone tells you, oh, you should have stayed here. You should have eaten this. You should have done that. Now you know exactly how to do.
We know we're going to meet people at that show that'll probably have things for us to check out. So that's why we're like, let's leave the third day kind of open.
I like that. That's how I feel. Like I just want to know, I mean, get the flight, know where you're kind of staying and then have a couple things you want to do, but you have the rest of the day open for the suggestion. Yeah.
We're renting a car.
That's cool.
I'm a little nervous about that. Never driven in Europe.
Really?
But I've driven in England a few times and that's like, I think if I can do that.
First time I drove in Australia, we rented the car. I'm like, all right, don't go that way. Don't go that way. Don't go that way. I went that way immediately. I went down the wrong way.
Dude, our first time we rented a car in England, I literally hit a sign on the way out of the rental car parking lot.
Man.
It's like constantly having your mind like, you're on this side of the road, Helen. You're on this side of the car, and so
left turns are scary. I feel like I'm just like looking at the right, like just hugging the lines on the road. I don't know.
Yep. That's all I would do. Because if I'm hugging this, then I'm okay over there. Because it's a whole, and I know Europe, it's on our side of the car, on our side of the road. But I'm just nervous about the signs that I won't be able to understand.
Why haven't we just done go-karts yet? Why can't I be in the middle? Why have to pick a side?
Because you're going to crash. And if somebody else decides they want to be on your side.
But hear me out. All right. So instead of two-person car, but you're safe. Bumper cars are pretty safe.
Well, I mean, maybe they don't go 75, 80 miles an hour.
All right. Here's my proposed plan. And maybe my car looks like Homer Simpson's car he designed. But like, if you have a 2-person car, instead of having both people up front, what if we do airplane style, like front and back? And so you're both centered, and you're safe, and you're safe, and you're safe, and you're not just a little race car style. Like, think about an Indy car with
Could you imagine like a family of 6, like this long?
They're screwed. I don't know. Just a long ass car.
Tube.
Yeah, like a spaceship. Damn. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I took us on a little walkabout. You were talking about tattoos and not needing a plan.
Yeah, I think.
Were you going down there?
Okay. All right.
I think segue a lot.
I think that your tattoo finds you. I think that you don't decide. Sometimes it's okay just to like things.
Sometimes it's okay to be spur of the moment. You know what? We should get that.
And I think it's more meaningful than trying to find the meaning, look for it, and try to find it. Sometimes you just find it and it's right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think like, and you know, how many times does someone bring in someone else's tattoo and say this is for them and their grandma and it's meaningful? And it's like, no, it's not. It was obviously for them, you know? So you create your own meaning. You could find, I could paint, you know, an eagle on the wall, and it's just an eagle on the wall. And someone's like, oh my God, that's for my grandfather.
Yeah.
And it is.
You
know, it is for their grandfather.
And something that relates to you.
Yeah.
Whether it's your artwork or someone else's artwork.
They're just marks in time. That's all they are.
Yeah.
They've been overdone. The meanings are lost. They're gone. They are for everyone, right? It is now pop culture. It's up for grabs. It's everyone's. Tattooing is ancient as time and as modern as tomorrow.
Is it? Not really.
I don't think so.
I mean, it can be, but
it is for people that don't get tattoos.
Okay. I was just going to say, there was a lady one time I ran into at a bank, and she saw my tattoos and she was like, oh, you know, I've always wanted a tattoo. And she was older, and she's like, I've wanted a tattoo for, you know, years and years and years, but I could just never settle on what I wanted to get. And I said, you know what I think? And she said, what? And I said, I think you're taking it way too seriously. Like, relax.
I think,
but relax. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, you've spent 20 years trying to find something you want. Like, just chill.
Hot take: don't get a tattoo.
Yeah.
If it's not for you, that's fine. But tattooing's so big that people who don't like tattoos feel the pressure to need to participate.
That's true.
And those people that can't be satisfied, they're not going to be satisfied. They've decided that.
You know, if someone's walking in off the street and they want some fancy script, you better know how to do fancy script.
Yeah.
Or they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you have to. If you're a walking artist, it's almost like,
I feel like you have to come into it that way, and you earn your style. You learn your style. Maybe your style.
What you like to do.
You learn what you like to do.
Right.
And sometimes, like, it's such a missed opportunity if you don't do that, because,
I agree.
You know, the client comes in, wants this thing. I don't want to do that thing. And you're like, I have to find out how to make this thing cool. And then you might love that thing. So
much tribal back in the day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, who knows? Maybe like sometimes you start tracing, you're like, I kind of like this tribal. And then before you know it, you're like, I love tribal.
Before you know it, hey, I'm not going to lie, dude. I could bust out some tribal. I would sit down. I would be drawing it on people by the end of the day. You know, just be like, let's just do your whole arm. And I'd have this really cool looking tribal on them. You know, we blast it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think once you
pride in my tribals.
Once you put your hand to something, then you have like a different relationship with it. There's designs that I thought were not cool, and then once I spent time with the design, then I'm like, I like this now. It's a special place in my heart. So I think I'm at the point in tattooing now where I have a soft spot for all styles of tattoos.
Yeah. And
I also like tattoos that, I mean, the first tattoos I ever liked weren't good. I never liked good tattoos. That was later. Like that, I thought like Gigi Allen's tattoos were cool.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean? That's what I wanted.
Bad. That's pretty bad.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And there's still a little bit of that where it's like, I still think like a poorly done black flag bar tattoo that's
Again,
closed
though,
together is cooler than a
I
clean
the
one.
beholder. It's about what it means to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like if I do a
Or are you just saying you thought that line work was good?
no, what I'm saying is like, so
are you saying in terms of like
the application adds to the edge of it. Here, you'll understand this so well. Okay. So you sew on a patch and you get your stitching all close together versus sewing machine or iron on.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Okay. And then also think about these rudimentary designs, like for example, like a scribbly like Xerox out of step minor threat sheet.
I was just gonna.
When I tattoo,
you literally said that. I was like, oh, the little scribbly sheep.
So when I tattoo that sheep, I do little dot work scribbles.
Yeah.
I don't try to make it. It's not mine to change.
Right.
They don't want
You're
my
like,
version.
I am doing the scribble.
That's
I'm
it.
not
That's how it's
scribbling it,
supposed to be
I'm tracing
done.
it.
That's how it's
Right.
supposed to be done.
Tracing that
And so
scribble.
I do it that way, you know?
Yeah.
But when I do black flag bars, I'll space them out a little bit to account for when they close in a little too much.
Yeah.
But that's not to say I don't like the blowing out old black flag bars because I think they're cool.
I understand what you're saying.
And
I get what you're saying too about needing to go, like, figuring out where you're at, because obviously the longer you tattoo and the more tattoos you do, what you went in with at first changes. The mindset you go in with, what you like to do changes.
Oh, it's changed several times. Like I wish I had several bodies to get several different bodysuits at this time because I have like so much stuff.
I know, me too.
What did you want to get covered in, and what did you end up getting?
What did I want to get covered?
Yeah, like what tattoos did you want to wear, and what tattoos did you end up wearing? Have like styles changed, ideas changed? Like how did you picture yourself being tattooed?
When I first started getting tattooed, I didn't have a style. I didn't have a style. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have a style of tattoos I wanted to get, and I didn't have a style. I had
You knew the things you wanted, yeah.
Yes, I had things I liked, and I would get them, and but it was whatever the artist who was doing it. It was just however they did it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, I like that.
I know exactly what I mean, because it's like someone likes a Star Wars tattoo. They don't care if it's neo-traditional or real or a stick figure. It's still Star Wars.
Solid black, watercolor, stipple shading. Jeez,
it's
man,
just,
the list goes on.
Yeah,
right?
they don't apply them. They don't think about the application of them. It's just the thing or it is not.
I feel like now when I get tattooed, I feel like what I see now, what's the tattoos that had developed over the years, there was a lot more to, like, things you didn't think you could do with tattoos when I first started. And as time went on, you could see like, wow, you could do that, you know, with even just the whole watercolor style stuff, you know, just like, and the soft tattooing where it's like, not that it feels soft, but you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just a little bit, it's not, maybe it's not as bold of an outline. Maybe it's not as heavy in the blacks, but you know, just the things that you can do now, it's like, I wouldn't have even thought twice about when I first started getting tattooed. You know what I mean? I didn't see a lot of it, and I certainly wasn't thinking that would be the route I'd be going. I mean, but again, you know, like we get our tattoos when we're younger. They're a testament to how we age. You know, even our tattoos speak about our viewpoints, our priorities, our perspectives, our loves, our passions when we were younger compared to something more recent. You know what I mean? Like you said, you know, your tattoos become a story. You don't always get them with a story. But
I like that.
You look at them and you remember, oh, I really used to like that when I was
And they're
younger.
very honest. Like you can't you can't hide from your tattoo. Like it's you get the tattoo you deserve. In any way you can think about that, it's true. Like a negative way or a good way or a bad way. It's like, oh, it was cheap, looks cheap. It was expensive, looks expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought about it. Looks like you thought a lot about it. You know, there's a lot of ingredients in that tattoo, right?
There's
like
a lot going on there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think that they're very honest. Like, and you have to be okay with that. Like the person that is ashamed of themselves, they're gonna be ashamed of their tattoos. Well, I don't want to get this tattoo because I don't like that band anymore. And it's like, well, then don't
get it.
you know. But I think it's like, it's really cool to be able to like be willing to like wear your life on your sleeve and not hide from that, not be ashamed of that thing, you know.
Right.
I think that
I agree.
And I think in some cases I feel like I like I like the nostalgia, and I kind of want some like, I don't know. I think I'm okay with like I kind of want like some of those old tattoos I wanted. Like I kind of want them more now, you know?
Yeah, because you didn't get them, and you're like, I should have got those.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think the ones that I thought about the most are the only ones I kind of don't like, and the ones that I was kind of spontaneous about are my favorite ones. Like I
could see
really,
that.
I
I
really
could see
like
that.
just like the fun time. Like it's just
We
like
have
that
a
was
lot of
fun.
those from when we went traveling. Kind of,
Mm.
we would,
Just souvenirs.
yeah, like permanent souvenirs. Like, you know, we were in Romania and we got little garlics.
Mm-hmm.
I
love
mean, I
that.
like garlic. I never thought about getting it tattooed on me, but while in Romania, right?
Right.
And we got little, what is it, garlic and little bats. I got this little dragon guy when we were in Thailand.
That's fun.
Not really. I mean, dragons are cool, but
Mhm.
it's like the souvenirs.
For sure.
You know, again, they don't. It's more like the tattoo is encompassing the moment. It's more about the moment than it is the tattoo.
Mm-hmm. And see,
Yeah.
that's what people will miss if they plan everything about their tattoo. And then they wear their headphones while they get the tattoo, and the moment is unnecessary. And
True.
then that's the AI robot client.
That is, and I will have some of those. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I mean, there's things that I tattoo that may not necessarily be my favorite thing to tattoo, but
It's not about you. It's not for you.
exactly. I was gonna say again, it's like if especially if it's someone who's been getting tattooed by me for a long time, it's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
But when I'm booking, yeah, I might turn them on to somebody else if it's something I feel like somebody else could do better. Because I'm not the I'm absolutely not the best. And
What
if
do
I
you
know
like to
somebody
do
who could
now?
What?
What do you like to do now? What's like your thing? I mean, you're still kind of street shop queen. Like you tattoo everything, but you have your application the way you do your thing. But what is like, what's your thing? What do you enjoy doing the most?
See that in itself is kind of that's like asking me what my favorite country is. You know what I mean? Because it's the same. I really love doing black and gray.
Mm-hmm.
I love black and gray. I will always rather tattoo black and gray over color.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing detail. I like it. I like it when I can like get in there and, you know, put the little hairs on there with the little shoelaces on the boot that's this big.
And black gray is so much more forgiving too.
It is. It ages well over time. I think a lot of it is too is I know how it ages.
I'll edit that part out because I don't. That's a good tip. But
that is a good tip.
Yeah.
I would have never thought of that.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes I'm skeptical on that stuff though. Like there's this like some European people doing like kind of like new Japanese stuff, and they're using like big fields of just the color gray, like white ink, you know, gray.
Yeah.
And it's it looks like it's just so much to heal, and it looks like and I'm just like
you probably had to go over it several times.
Yeah, and it's just like I want to know, like I want some transparency of like I want the flex of like I had to hit this in 3 times, because I'm just disillusioned as I guess the client, because I think that it just happened then. I'm out of the loop, you know. Everyone's hiding what went into it, you know.
Yeah, the sessions.
Yeah, like what did it take to achieve that?
Right.
And now tattooing is so popular, like clients
people want this done in 2 sessions.
Yeah, like
this is gonna be like 8.
People want like really extreme tattoos, but because it's not taboo and it's not extreme, they think it's as easily accessible as just the photo they swiped across on their screen. So we had a walk-in want to get like, what do you think if we just black out my arm and then do white ink over it? And it's like, for sure, it's like 20 hours of black, and then it's like, and it's like, and then we're going to hit the white in, hit the white in again.
Yeah.
That's like a carny tattoo. That's a sideshow performer tattoo. That's a tattooer that's been tattooed and they're on their 4th bodysuit tattoo. That's not walk-in tattoo.
That's like somebody who has already had their entire arm tattooed, and
it's very extreme. It's very extreme, and it's becoming like trendy and normal. Like fucking Machine Gun Kelly just got like a whole heavy black work torso by Rock's Two Spirit. Looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But like
the amount of time that goes into it
Yeah.
is not probably being taken into account.
and now we're gonna get Watkins asking for a Machine Gun Kelly black work tattoo, and he's not, you didn't see the journey of the sessions. They're just overnight. It's just done.
It's a lot of painful healing.
Yeah. And a lot more when you're getting that extreme of a tattoo. I mean, more is on the client and the healing than on the tattooer and making the thing. You have to be consistent doing your thing, but man, like the aftercare is just as, if not more important. Like it could be catastrophic if you don't care for it correctly.
Oh, yeah.
If you're 100% tattooing someone,
gnarly tattoo
yes.
infections.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's all solid ink.
Yeah.
So
that inflammation is
literally-
nuts.
That's like tattoo fever times 10.
For sure.
Jeez.
Yeah. Tattooing's getting like too competitive in that nature. Like things getting bigger and crazier and bigger and crazier and bigger and crazier.
With the blackout sleeves and stuff?
Yeah, that, and like even in I heard this interview of Mike DeVries talking about this.
Oh, are
and
you
he
talking
was-
about like people getting tattooed by like 5 artists at
Yeah.
one time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just got
That's
got
nuts. I
so
can't even imagine the
competitive.
healing.
So competitive. And there was another thing Philip Liu was talking about that. He's like, I've done some of that in the past where 3 of us did a whole back at a convention in a couple days. And it gets like, I don't know, it becomes this different genre of tattooing.
It feels like it's not it's not about the tattoo at that point. It feels like it's like, how much can you take at once? You know what I mean? Like that sounds
But you
so
still
bad.
have to heal
But
it.
yeah,
You still have to heal it.
I know. And I saw one like that, and it just it made me kind of laugh a bit because all the tattoo artists had on like scrubs and
Mm-hmm.
it was
This is a good topic. Go on.
so it was like they were like a surgery or something, you know. But it was funny because they had scrubs on, and then like some dude's hair is just kind of like coming. It was almost
The anesthesia.
it was almost like, yes, and the anesthesia, and I was just like, man, and it made me chuckle a little bit because I was like, this is a little extreme with the outfits, but at the same time, it was like, that's a lot of skin to be breaking at once, and the tattoo looked amazing. The tattoo was glorious, but I was just thinking like, you would have to be under anesthesia for that. That's insane. You might as well be doing a surgery on someone. Surgery outfits aside, like I don't know.
Skin's the largest organ.
It's nuts, dude. And
I
like
think
just one little section, something gets into one little section, and one little bit of that gets infected. Ugh.
It seems like almost a prerequisite that has to be a thing where it's like, you're not booking that day. You're also booking the 3 days of bedridden aftercare.
I'm sorry, that big of a tattoo? Like a week, 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying.
2
Like
weeks
I
of
bet,
bedridden
I think that's
ice
when
packs and ibuprofen.
Yeah, when you hear about these things, these $20,000-$30,000 crazy anesthesia, blah blah blah, like
bodysuit in one day.
Oh, it's crazy. But I also like don't want to tattoo a dead person. I want my client to get up and like, hey, walk over there. Let me see what it looks like across the room. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if this line's crooked or if I'm just bending you wrong. Let me see with you stand up. Okay, cool. I trust my stencil.
Yeah.
But to have to just run it, like
I wonder the mentality that goes behind it with the artist and the client. Like I wonder if the purpose of it is just to get it all over with. Like I want this cool bodysuit.
It's
but
that
I don't
because
want
those
it to
companies that
take
do
2
that,
years to do
they don't
it.
even shout the people that are doing it. You see these people in scrubs and you see the rapper getting the whole thing, but like, do you get to pick the artists that do it? Like, do you get to be like, all right, I want all my favorite artists. I'm gonna book them all in at the Tat Hospital, and I'm gonna pay a loan, a $50,000 loan. Like, how does that work? Because I think it's becoming a franchise thing where it's not really that. Maybe that's the AI client right there. They don't care who's doing it. They just like, yo, just cover me.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't want to feel it.
You just not want it. You don't want to feel it, which I mean,
the ultimate headphones.
You've got they have numbing stuff you could buy. Anybody can not feel it nowadays. You can order it off Amazon. It's right at your fingertips. But this, I think it goes beyond not feeling it. It's like you want this amazing piece it was amazing. I can't even remember what it was, but I remember just being like, wow, that's impressive. But it was like, you basically just got like 3 or 4 years worth of once a month sessions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Done in 10 hours under anesthesia.
But I also check in with my clients a lot and like, what do you think about this or blah, blah, blah. And you just can't. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's just so much.
It's a lot. I just can't get on that, like, on that level, I guess, of wanting to do something like that, or wanting to do something like that as a tattoo artist, and then wanting to like go under that as a person, like, you know, waking up and being like not being able to move for.
Right. Did you ever imagine when you first started tattooing that there would be this many genres to tattooing? Like right when you figured it all out, there's still something new around the bend.
No, I didn't. And that's what I meant. Like when I was getting tattooed, I didn't know there was only so much you could think a tattoo. How do I word this? There was only so much options, I guess, that I could think of in terms of like how to represent this. And now there's so many different ways of doing it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And there's things that I see now where I'm just like, wow, I want to learn how to do that. I want to do that. That's really cool looking. You know, there's so many. So I don't even know the names of all of them. I remember, you know, the first time I started hearing the word neo-traditional. And it's not like I'm this, you know, old tattooer, like in terms of, what would you call it? This old school tattooer.
Right.
I'm not, you know what I mean? 20 whatever years is nothing compared to people who've been running around doing this for 40, 50 years. But I do remember trying to figure out what neo-traditional was. I was like, what's neo-traditional? You know what I mean?
I'm still trying to figure it out. These
Labels
labels are confusing.
I don't know what they are. And I know it, there's so many times I'm sitting there going like, well, I don't know what that would be considered. And you're having that. I see the same thing happening in music, you know, and things there's all these.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Genres. And I'm just like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then there's like this dash,
it's not
this dash,
even
this,
enough to say you listen to punk. It's like, well, what kind of punk you listen to? And you're like, oh, my favorite band's Green Day. And you're like, oh, shit, okay.
And
that's
then you're
cool,
like, but I
but
don't
it's
even
not
know what
same.
genre that fall. You know, you like sit there and it's just like this hashtag or this dash. It's like 4 words or something. I can't even keep up.
I'm not into pop punk, but I'm into Descendants, and there would be no pop punk without Descendants. And I love the Descendants, but does that mean that I like
pop / traditional / punk?
Right. Yeah, it's weird.
California.
Right.
I think
I feel like I had to get into the genres in order. I almost had to get in like when I got into punk, I almost want to go back to like 77 punk and then like come forward and then rockabilly and then psychobilly. And then it was like early like I mean, dude, like,
now it's like that.
Can you imagine
there's all the subcategories?
Like Black Flag was a hardcore band.
Yeah, I know.
Black Flag's not a today's genre hardcore band.
You would not have,
no way.
They would not be playing with hardcore bands.
And then even like even like when I was getting into like you know, then I got into like, I mean, yeah, hardcore from what state, from what country, from what year,
all different.
Right? Yeah. And then it was like, and then even in hardcore, I liked like I was into like Youth Crew, like New York hardcore, but then I was also into like, and I'd be like, oh, I like hardcore. Someone's like, I like hardcore too. And they named some like emo band. And I'm like, what? Like, oh, I listen to deathcore. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And it's just like, it's not enough. And even
I listen to mediocre core.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like in tattooing, the neo-traditional is interesting because it could mean just, all right, I'll give you what I think neo-traditional is.
Okay.
I think neo-traditional is traditional without the tradition. So it's new because all right, it's like hey, I like that application. I like the application, but I don't want the eagle. I want it to be a raven. It'll still be bold. It'll still be these few colors, but you know, we're gonna use a smaller line for this part that instead of simplifying it, and then we're also gonna use white, but then now it's just a color tattoo.
So
where does it end?
That was like where mine was at. I was thinking, okay, neo-traditional is that the bold outline of traditional work, but with like the
modern
realistic
takes.
modern color shading where it's like.
Well, that's what's weird because someone could do like a color portrait, put a rose next to it, neo-traditional. And it's like, it seems like not necessarily.
I don't know.
Yeah.
When people start throwing the genres at me, I'm just like, can you just snap a few screenshots of the tattoos you like?
Yeah.
Just so I can see the style, because you start throwing names at me and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
It's like it continues onward. Like you see people's like Spotify thing, and it's like, oh, you listen to indie neo folk. It's like, what the fuck is that? I don't identify with that. I just like to Defiance Ohio song. I don't know what's going on. Like, you know,
there's something really wrong about when Alexa tries to make me, or Spotify says, based on the music you listen to, we've made you a mix.
Right.
You start listening to it, you're like, what is this?
Yeah, and then also bands will like carve out their own path. Like they'll make their own genre, you know?
I know. Maybe
that's selfish.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should name a genre after myself.
But then you're just alone.
That's true.
You know? Like it's like a lonely place.
Yeah, it is. That's true. I don't even.
It's a small festival.
It's a very small. One band, mine.
Yeah.
I don't even know anyone to watch it because the only people watching my band would be my band.
Right.
We'd just stand in a circle and watch each other.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know the genres. I don't know what styles called what. I'd really just have to tell people, give me a visual. That's
great because it's a visual thing anyways, and everyone's going to have a different idea or depiction on what that thing is.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll say, I would like it traditional style, and the next thing I know, they're sending me pictures of what they want, and it's all like watercolor, and I'm like, I'm glad you sent me those because that's nothing like my take on traditional.
I feel like, but even then in traditional, it's like I always tell people it's like, well, it depends what tradition, right?
Yeah.
Like my traditional would be like mid-century post-war traditional, right? But you could be like George Burchett, Samuel O'Reilly, or Ben Corday and doing fine line would be considered neo-traditional. They were doing portraits and shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but then you could be doing like Sailor Jerry didn't use 18-round shader to outline; he used a 7-round.
Right.
So like if you tattoo. Like, if you look at an old blown out tattoo and you make that blown out tattoo new and you're not considering how it's going to blow out, then is that traditional? Which end of you may not be in the middle of it. You might be at the end of it and not thinking ahead of it. You know, is that traditional? I don't know.
You're going to pull out a big timeline.
That's how it goes. You're going
to get a little magnet and you're going to be like, this is traditional. Just tell me when to stop the magnet.
That's a good point. That's a good point because there's people like
you could be the first person to do that.
I mean,
a little traditional.
Yeah, like all right, you want me to use blue? Boom, we're in mid 70s now.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean?
You're like, it's gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're doing purple. Ooh, welcome to the 80s. Yeah.
That's so funny. That's cool.
Yeah, I do think about it like that.
Really funny.
It's also weird too, like the people want like want super tough tattoos, but then they're not okay with like being treated differently. Like they want prisoner tattoos and then they're afraid of how. Have you had that problem?
No.
What
do you mean? Like
okay. I had this one client and he wanted like nothing but Russian criminal tattoos.
Oh no.
And
like I hope you never go to Russia.
right. So I would pull down the Russian criminal book and I would go through
There's a Russian criminal book?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna show it to me right now.
Yeah, right now.
You've actually got it?
I think it's right here actually.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Is it full of Russian criminal tattoo designs? Did you actually do this on him?
So what I'll say is, where did the mic? Oh. So don't show it to camera. So what I'll say is there's about
the first page I opened.
There's about 6 designs in that book that you could legally tattoo right now.
I have to show you what I opened to.
Let me see it.
Just put it to yourself.
All right, you're good. Go. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
I'm like, why is that the first page I opened to?
So
that's better.
A lot of those tattoos, like some of them, they're tattoos for criminals, and some of those I'm like, yeah, that's like an outwardly racist tattoo. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Some of it, like, hey, that's a cool skull. That was for someone that didn't pay taxes and they were an outlaw. Like, that's a cool tattoo. I could do that one, right?
Uh-huh.
So I read the descriptions. I understand the depictions. I find my place in it, and it becomes a new thing, right? And but he wears many of these tattoos, and not just these tattoos, but any criminal aspect of tattoo.
Yeah.
Just tough, scary tattoo.
Yeah.
Chains, webs, skulls, spooky, scary.
Mm-hmm.
And then was rudely awakened by people being scared of him. Like tripping out when people treated him differently. And it's like, you can't expect to like put on this look and not have consequences that come along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe now they truly mean nothing because all of these designs are up for grabs for anyone, you know?
Well, I mean, as long as they have this book.
Right. It's a good one, though. There is some cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
There is some, like...
It seems like a cool book, but that's pretty gnarly that someone's coming into and actually wants
Oh, there's some heavy
wants
stuff.
those all tattooed on them. That's
Yeah,
pretty
there's some heavy stuff in there. But even that raises the question of, like, you know, I think that it comes down back to like intention on the wearer of the tattoo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, everyone has a different meaning in what they see in that tattoo. You could get a fucking Smash Mouth tattoo. I don't even know what that would even look like, right? Maybe a Shrek or something, right?
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what their
Yeah, what's their logo look like?
logo looks
Let me think. Like, you can get a
Is it a
Burger
mouth?
King. You can get a Burger King logo, right? It doesn't matter if it's just that you like Burger King. Someone that's scared of tattoos might go, "Ooh, criminal, scary tattoo."
Yes.
Doesn't
Burgers.
it's how you wear it. Like, people aren't reading it, you know. Like no one. That's another thing. No one's gonna ever read your tattoo. You know, no one.
No.
Everyone's gonna say, "What does it say?" You know, that's what's gonna say. That's the meaning. It's like, oh, what's that say?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's why you wear it, how you wear it, and you have to assume the worst case scenario as a part of choosing to bear it. You know, it's part of it.
That's true. No, that's true. That's true. You're gonna put that on you.
Yeah.
I've had a couple instances like that, but it's, you know, it is the kind of thing where if you get it tattooed on you, other people are going to see it. And if you don't care about that, then cool.
Yeah.
But that's not to say you're not going to care about that in 10 years, 20 years down the line. Maybe you have a kid and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I think I want to change that now. Cause you know, all of a sudden you're raising a kid and maybe you don't have that same outlook anymore. You know?
I just want vague shit. Just like, that looks cool. I don't want like something that you have to think that far into for it to get misconstrued to begin with.
Yeah. That's also it. I have some of the same instances, you know what I mean, where I've had people want to get tattoos they're like pretty racist tattoos, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And you might sit there and say you're getting it done for this reason or that reason, but it's not gonna be from my hand.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can find someone else to do it who wants your money and doesn't care. But like for me, it's like, that's like an issue of my morals. You know what I mean? I can't do that on you.
And why would they even want it from you? Like, I've seen that actually happen when I was working with Tino. Like, biker dudes want racist shit, and they're like, no, it's because I'm into Harleys.
Right.
And I was like, okay, cool, dude. Yeah, just go to your other friend that's into Harleys to get that tattoo. You know, I'm not into Harleys.
Yeah,
like, kind of crazy.
Yeah. I think it probably comes down to more or less people don't want to be turned down.
Right.
Not and then it becomes more of a factor of like, well, why won't you do it? And it's just like, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Does it really matter why I won't do it? Just go to somebody else. Especially now.
Yeah.
You know, that there's someone's gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, but not me. If it's making me feel uncomfortable, then I'm definitely not gonna put it on somebody else's skin. You know.
Yeah, and I think that we should. I would hope that we're in a place where we don't have to feel bad about that. You know, because I've been put in places where I feel I'm made to feel like afraid to not tattoo. Like, it's just like I didn't get into tattooing to like be a service worker, even though it was a service and his work. But I didn't get into tattooing to like book appointments far ahead. I didn't get into tattooing to. I just got into tattooing just because I wanted to hang out and tattoo.
Yeah.
And so much more came along with it.
Yeah.
And like so much stress came along with it. And I just want it to be fun. And I don't want to tattoo people that aren't fun. And, you know, a lot of people make tattooing not fun, you know? And it's like, it gets kind of scary where I'm afraid to tell someone no for their tattoo now, you know? It's like, It's
And
mainly
you
the
shouldn't have to.
right. It
You
should be
shouldn't have
okay.
to. Yeah, it should be okay.
It's like we reserve the right to refuse work to or service to
Anybody.
anyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like if I'm selling my art, like this is my
Well, it's the same situation as even tattooing somebody who's making you feel uncomfortable.
yeah.
You're like, I don't think I'm gonna tattoo you anymore.
Yeah. So since it's getting late, we should wrap this up. But I think I know what I want to call this episode. I think I want to call it "What are you gonna do?" No, it's too long. What are you gonna do when the tattoo robots come?
It's not about if they can; it's about when they will.
Oh, when the robots come. No, it has to be tattoo in the title. What do you think?
Tattoo tech. Tattoo.
No.
Well, I'm trying to think.
Robots
of something
is
with,
essential. Very.
Okay,
We're going for a Terminator theme.
Well, what? Tattoo Terminators. Okay, all right. I'm serious now. I'm going to seriously
Tattoo robot epidemic. No.
No, because it's not. No, maybe like.
That's not yet.
How about just robots and tattoos? Okay.
No, because it has to feel threatening.
Okay.
And it has to feel like, ooh, they're coming for our jobs.
Oh, okay. All right.
The robots.
Robots.
Think scary. Think Mars attacks. Think tattoo AI and how it will affect you. Might be long. That's kind of good.
It doesn't really make me scared.
What makes you scared?
Nervous, but I don't feel scared at that title.
What's a dystopian scary tattoo future?
Is that the title, or are you asking me?
Oh, I don't know. What did I say? That could probably work. No, that was a question.
Okay. I mean, the title could be a question. You've done that before.
No, that's all right. It has to be a question then. We're getting on
Okay.
some. So tattoo robots and a question in there and scariness.
Will robots put tattoo artists
Out of business?
into the ground?
I need to do some research.
Yeah, you could probably think of something pretty good.
Yeah.
We could be going back and forth for like half an hour on this.
That's how it goes. That's how a lot of time goes into that part.
Of coming up with titles?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, it doesn't matter how good the book is if no one like opens it.
Robots and the tattoo takeover.
Ooh. Say it again.
Robots and the tattoo takeover.
I like that. Tattoo robot takeover.
Robot tattoo takeover and how to fight back.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, because remember we were talking about how the robots are going to do everything for us?
Yeah.
Actually, but we didn't really talk about what we could do to keep that from happening.
Hand poking. We're
Learn
hand
how to
pokers
poke,
now.
But robots and the tattoo takeover.
That's what we said. That is it.
I did, but that's not the end. Semicolon.
Uh-huh.
And what you can do to fight back. And then I forgot what I was going to add on to that.